Testing on Tank 18.3 is underway at Massey's. BQD rear cover hoods have arrived at Sanchez. Gigabay has had part of its first aisle concrete laid at the build site, and OLM-1 is being stripped of the ship's static fire equipment and readied for the upcoming Flight 11. Hey everyone, I'm Jeff A, and this week we celebrate a huge milestone for RGV aerial photography. Can you believe that this is our 100th narrated Starbase Flyover update? Here's a little peek from episode 1 back in November 2023. As you can see, there have been huge changes at Starbase over the last 2 years. But back to the present now. This flight took place on September 26th at an altitude of 6,000 feet and captured all the latest developments at Starbase, Texas. So let's kick back and take in all the sights as we go through these images. Let's start at the Massey's test facility. Let's begin with the events at the site in the past week. Test Tank 18.3 conducted 3 cryo tests on the 25th, 26th and 29th of September. This clip is thanks to Lab Padre's camera. Continuing with the methane side of the tank farm, some new pipe racks have been installed behind the soon-to-be constructed blast protection wall. More pipes can be seen exiting the commodities trench, and all will likely be routed along this new pipe rack. Over at the flare stack, a channel has been dug for a run to accommodate the new location of the methane setup. Beside the flame trench ramp, some interesting new steel is shown up that consists of columns, beams and corrugated decking. The leading theory is that this is to cover the cryo and gas lines exiting the fluids bunker leading to the stand. Near the nose cone jail, several steel beam assemblies have been moved from near the inventory tent. One of these pieces was seen lifted near the can crusher on the 29th of September. One possibility is that these are for testing the grid fin mounts on the 18.3 test article. Finally, at the electrical bunker, the roof of the building has been formed. Additionally, concrete has been broken out of part of the walls so they can reform and re-pour that section of the building. Before diving into the changes here at Sanchez, let's check out the latest map from Proky. At the front of the site, a queue of trucks with prefabricated concrete sections are staged for the apartment building. Things are moving really quickly over there. Now looking closer, the QD covers for the Pad 2 BQD hoods have arrived. On first inspection, they look like just one hood, but there are actually 2, just face to face. To the side, we can see the remains of the BQD and SQD adapter piping used to provide propellants to both Ship 37 and 38 on the OLM. The manifold for the 6 small deluge water tanks for Pad 2 has reappeared. It looks like they are adjusting it because something was off during fit checks. Over here, we have 3 more hold-down arm doors for the OLM at Pad 2. There are now 18 out of 20 on site. The 2 remaining should be delivered in the next few days. Don't be surprised to see them in the next flyover. Rolling to the Ship QD arm area, 2 walkways and the speculated frames for the cryo lines have returned, now with a fresh coat of paint. Moving to the scrapyard, a ship transport stand has been cut into 6 pieces. This may indicate that a new style of transport stand is in the works, as some of the renders from SpaceX suggest. Finally, Flight 11's booster 15.2 has been moved to the rocket garden, waiting for its launch day. It was soon joined by booster 12 on September 26th. Long live B12. Just before moving to the build site, we'd like to thank all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Remember, all of the patrons get to participate in our show and tell sessions on the same day of each flight. Here, you can join in the discussions and ask your own questions. YouTube members also get to watch and listen in with a live chat function. Beginning at the Gigabay foundations, the finished floor slab has been poured on the right side aisle, and a large amount of gravel has been spread out for the rest of the floor to be poured on top of. The next pour to occur was the bottom right hand side, and ongoing pile cap rebar work is continuing to the left. Along the northern end of the Gigabay, new utilities have begun installation. In the left corner, several pipes and conduits are seen within this formwork. This includes possible gas commodities previously plumbed into high bay from the Sanchez commodity farm. Moving to Megabay 1, we can see Booster 12 being lifted onto a transport stand after it received both engines and shielding. It was then moved to the rocket garden. It's speculated that this is not its final resting place and it's intended to be used for a display sometime in the future. Moving to Megabay 2, Ship 38 remains on the front left work stand for final checkouts before flight. With the door open, we can see part of its heat shield with scaffolding installed around the lower part of the ship. With this ground image from Starbase Surfer, the forward half of Ship 38 is nicely lit as the sun set on the 29th. At the apartment building, the right half of the building seems to be complete, with the left half close behind. Wall segments for the car park within the apartment building structure are being placed. Doing this isolates the apartment building from the noise and vibrations caused by the parking structure when it's in use. Here's this week's labelled map. Take a moment to pause the video if you need extra time looking it over. At Pad 2, cladding the GSC bunker continues. This week, concrete has been removed from the edge of the second floor. This seems to be related to clearance for the supports behind the cladding. Moving to the top, work is being done on all the hold-down clamps. We can see the main pins have been removed and the clamps have been pulled back with chain blocks attached to the top deck. Looking into the western exit of the trench again this week, we can see clearly without the crane blocking the view like the previous flyover. Testing of the flame bucket and ridge continues this week. The trench is flooded enough for the bucket to be partially underwater. Just to the side, some groundwork between the tower and trench is progressing to cover this area in concrete. Looking at the back leg of Tower 2, cable racking is being installed. It's unclear how much higher up the tower this will extend. Along the western property line, a new excavation is underway. Due to the water exiting the flame trench, significant erosion has happened here. It's possible that an extension of the drainage curb may be in the works. Now over at the D1 entrance, the lift station has been lowered into the hole dug last week. A short distance toward the beach, work appears to have resumed to connect the water lines from Sanchez. With all the tanks now installed, the blast wall construction on the east end can now progress. At least 2 more segments appear to be needed to finish this wall. Just below, the 6th tank no longer has its gas intake manifold. As seen in Sanchez, it has been cut into several pieces as it must not have properly fit. Just to the side, some additional pipe sections are staged to further integrate the pressurization system to the last 3 tanks. This week also sees the installation of new frames over the gas generators. Wall installation on the mega bunker continues this week. Most of the south side is now placed, with the walls on each side being the same. Moving to the Pad 2 pump farm, the remaining pieces are still absent. However, testing of the boost to methane side was underway. Further along the tank farm, 5 new vaporizers have been installed on the bases, mentioned during the previous flyover. These are the remaining units that were previously staged at the Highway 4 lot for many weeks. Along the front wall of the tank farm, the remaining 3 fan bases from the recent delivery of 8 are staged. With the 5 new ones in place, the 5 older in that area may be replaced with 3 of these newer units. Just to the right, the long-anticipated connection between the original methane tanks and the 2 new tanks has also been made with this pipe, where it was speculated to integrate. Moving over to Pad 1, the LR11000 is parked next to the tower. Earlier in the day, the SQR3 adapter stand was removed from the OLM and staged here, along the blast wall. At the top of the boosted quick disconnect, crews are on both sides of the temporary ship QD frame as it has been removed following the successful testing of Ship 38. Recent US Coast Guard local notice to mariners now indicates a net date for Flight 11 on October 13th. On September 29th, SpaceX posted a recap video for Flight 10 as a short preview of Flight 11. While largely the same as Flight 10, the next flight will include several new tests. Booster 15.2 will attempt the landing burn using 13 engines before reducing to 5, and then further to 3 engines prior to a soft touchdown in the Gulf. Ship 38 will again carry 8 Starlink simulators and execute an in-space burn of a sea-level Raptor. There will still be some tile testing, including removal of bonded tiles that do not have backup ablative layers beneath them. The ship's landing attempt will also test new banking maneuvers and subsonic guidance algorithms. As we finish this week's flyover, construction of the ASU is ongoing. Crews continue to make their way around the site with the perimeter wall construction. Well, that's it for episode 100 of Starbase Flyover Update. Thank you for choosing to fly with RGV Aerial Photography, and we hope you all enjoyed the flight. If you liked what you saw today, please do subscribe for more episodes and content, and so you don't miss out on the new videos each week. I'm Jeff A, and we'll see you again from 6,000 feet.